Welcome back. We're here at the New London Gallery right on Main Street in New London. And joining me now is Grace Cooper. She is one of the great artists here. Thank you for joining us. We're standing in front of one of your lovely items.
Yes, I feel very fortunate to be in the gallery with Kim, and it's just been a great experience so far. So
she has really got some very nice artists here, and she does such a great job with the framing too.
Yeah, she does.
Good. Well, tell us a little bit about your early work as an artist.
Well, I started out like really being into art at a really young age, and you know, I come from a pretty artistic family, and you know, I remember when I was around 10, I have a cousin who's a painter out in Ohio, and I was visiting her once in her studio, and I thought, that's what I want to do. Wow. And it really took hold.
Yeah. How old were you?
I couldn't have been more than 10, 11. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So it took hold early on, and then I took a lot of art classes growing up in Connecticut. You know, I lived by a wonderful art place that was near my home, and my parents were always encouraging me to just keep exploring.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your formal education and then your early career.
So I went to school in New York at School of Visual Arts, and I majored in illustration and painting. And I took a textile design class, and it was just one of these things. I ended up doing work for the instructor. I had a colleague who needed somebody to help out in her studio, and without ever planning on doing this, I ended up in the textile design field and did that kind of commercial work for about 15 years maybe, and it was great. I loved it. And the thing about it was I learned so much about color because it was before the computers. Everything now, you know, they do it on CAD and different computer programs, but I was mixing all these colors all the time and painting for home furnishing and apparel. And so it's still something that I love. I don't do it. I gave it up probably about 10 years ago and kind of transitioned into letting go of that and then concentrating primarily on my own work. But I always feel like it was, you know, not only going everything that I learned from all the different places along the way, but having that as part of my experience has been just very, very beneficial, and I loved it.
It certainly shows in your use of color.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of like you can look at a color. We had to like, what is that color? How do you get there? And kind of like recipes in a way, you know, where you can get to the point of just a color theory. It was a lot of color theory.
Right.
Yep.
And so here you are.
And here I am.
Now this is an oil?
This is oil.
Okay.
Yep. These are all oil. I paint primarily in oil. And, you know, over the years, I have kind of, landscape has always been what I'm most drawn to.
I can see that, yes.
And some of these paintings that are more of the shore and marshes and everything are a result of being in a gallery on the Cape in Wellfleet.
Okay.
As well. Yeah.
Very good.
So I love the mountains. I love what we have here, and I love the more kind of minimal, just expanse of water.
Yeah. Your work has a very serene quality to it. That's why I think anyone would love to have that in their home. It's very peaceful looking, most of your things.
That's what people say a lot of the time, and I think I feel that when I'm painting, you know, it's definitely just a place that I go that is very therapeutic.
Do you paint from life usually or from photos?
I paint from photos and drawings. I do a lot of drawing out, but I'm not one of these painters that sets up in all kinds of weather, you know, in the middle of winter and everything. It's not for me. I use the photos and the drawings as just a starting point.
Right.
And then kind of, you know, my memory and whatever else comes up. I'm not trying to copy a photo so much as just, you know, use it as a interpretation.
Well, it's what your method, whatever it is terrific because your work is just gorgeous. Let's talk a little bit about some classes that you've started to offer.
Yeah, so a couple years ago, it came up when the gallery next door was still running, and so they started offering classes there, and I agreed, and I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about this, but I'll give it a go, and it's been wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. Yes. Yep.
So you're offering those now. Well, tell me just some of the different mediums people might learn from you.
I've got a couple of oil painting classes and a couple of drawing, and it's mostly with adults, although I do have a class with a few high school kids.
Nice.
Yeah. And I have a studio in town, and they're small classes, 4, maybe 5 people at the most, because I don't want the really large. I mean, I think you just can't have the one-on-one that I think is so important with the really large classes. And then I'm going to be trying something this summer with Center for the Arts and doing 2 different workshops.
Oh, fun.
Yep. So
lots of ways we can get some instruction from Grace Cooper. That's great. Well, good. Yeah. Well, more examples of your work, and you've got some class schedule information. Best place to look is your website.
My website, yeah.
And that's got your contact information as well. So good. Well, thanks for joining us today. Best wishes.
Thank you.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Lynn. Thanks.